This is my Terapagos tank list that I've been playing to great success. The first thing you're going to notice is that we do play a lot of one-of cards here. We do have the 4/4 Hoot Hoot Noctowl line to be able to find any one of these one-of cards. To set up, we may need a Buddy Buddy Poffin to find an energy. We may need the Energy Lotto. We may need an Area 0 Underdepths or a Brave Charm. Whatever card we need, we're able to find with our Noctowl. That's why we run the 4/4 line to always have that available to us. We do run the 4 Terapagos EX. One of the biggest things that I struggled with this deck is that having multiple Terapagos EX was sometimes not always available. It was really hard to use Noctowl just to grab a Nest Ball for a second Terapagos, for instance. So just being able to naturally draw into a Terapagos EX is really, really nice. That's why we play 4 of them. If you prize one, it could also get kind of sketchy if you've only got 3 available to you. We do play the 3 Bouffalants with its ability, Curly Wall, that does reduce the damage by 60 for our colorless Pokemon. If you add a Brave Charm to your Terapagos EX, that gives it an effective 340 hit points, which is out of range of knockout of most Pokemon. Chi and Pow and a few others can still take knockouts, but those aren't really meta decks or played decks, heavily played decks right now. We do play the 2 Fan Rotoms. We do want to be able to use Fan Call on our first turn every single game. We're able to look for 3 colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less. Normally, I end up making sure I have 2 of my Bouffalant and then either a Hoot Hoot or Noctowl, depending on what my starting hand was. You always want to have 2 Bouffalant on your bench. You're going to be tempted to grab multiple Hoot Hoot or like a Noctowl and 2 Hoot Hoot, just so you can get your setup going even faster to the next turn. But if you don't have this damage reduction on the bench, there's a good chance your opponent can start doing meaningful damage and it could end up losing you the game. So always make sure you have the 2 Bouffalant on your bench. And most deck lists have only been playing 2 of these. So having the third one does catch a lot of your opponents off guard. They'll target down the Bouffalant, taking a single prize. Then you could go grab a Nest Ball or an Ultra Ball, grab a third Bouffalant, and then it's offset the prize trade in your favor because you're going to be using your 2 prize Pokemon for the rest of the game. We do have the Blood Moon Ursaluna for a late game closer. This thing is just absolutely crazy in the end game. You have 370 hit points. It's almost impossible to knock out. Does a really good 240 damage. Does take a lot of knockouts on the basic Pokemon in the format right now. Pheasantipity is the one card that I really don't like having in this deck, but without it, it's too clunky. I mean, you can run it without Pheasantipity. You can add in like another Iono, another Research, or another Judge. But having the Pheasantipity for when they do take those knockouts is so helpful. You can add a Brave Charm to it, give it 260 hit points. It does help a little bit. Your opponent does usually end up targeting down the Pheasantipity, which is usually okay because then it allows you to keep your Terapagos and your Blood Moon Ursaluna in the active spot with your 4 double turbo energies. That could be a little bit scary on the energy counts, especially if you have to attach one to retreat. So if they take a knockout on this 2 prize Pokemon and leave your Terapagos or Blood Moon in play, it's not always a bad thing. We do play the 3 Judge. This is basically just, we're trying to keep our Terapagos and our Blood Moon Ursaluna alive as much as possible. So our opponent's not going to be taking a lot of prize cards. If we Iono our opponent to 6, that can actually help them in most scenarios. So we do like to have the 3 Judge to put them down to 4. If you go second with this deck, it's not great. But with a Judge going second, you can disrupt your hand. Hopefully they draw into nothing and you get what you need to set up. You do like to go first. You want to be able to attack with Unified Beatdown as soon as possible. So going first is always the preferred option. Always choose first. There's no matchup where going second is better. Pheasantipity EX, that's the one card that you could probably cut from this deck. I just hate how good it is. It's just too good. Drawing 3 cards whenever your opponent gets a knockout is just too good. So, I mean, I feel like you do have to have it. We do play the 1 Briar. When our opponent gets down to 2 prize cards, we could take an additional prize card with Briar, which is really nice. Colress's Tenacity allows us to find Double Turbo or Jet Energy along with our Area 0. Just a really good one-of card to have in case you need to grab it off of Noctowl. We do play 1 Counter Catcher and 1 Super Rod. A lot of people play the Night Stretcher, but putting back Pokemon is really important with this deck. If your opponent plays a Stadium and it dumps all of your Pokemon to the discard, you want to put back 3 Pokemon to put back on your bench, so you're always doing 220 damage with your Terapagos. We do play the Scoop Up Cyclone. Most of the time I end up using this on the Noctowl just to reset it, but it is really helpful when you want to use Scoop Up Cyclone on a Terapagos that's been damaged, put a new Terapagos in the active spot, attach the Brave Charm, attach the Double Turbo, And then you could use a supporter such as Boss's Orders, Judge Iono, whatever you want to use that turn whenever you use Scoop Up Cyclone. Really, really solid deck list. Let's get into some matches, show you how it works. Looks like we're playing against a Dragapult deck, perhaps. We are going to be able to go first, which does help a lot, but this is probably our worst matchup. We'll start Terapagos. We have the Fan Rotom. This is actually a really good start. Like a really, really good start. They're starting Manaphy, which is okay, I guess. This is actually a really, really good start. All right, let's use Buddy Poffin. Let's grab the Fan Rotom out of our deck, just to thin a little bit. We're going to grab double Bouffalon. And we probably want to grab a Noctowl. And we do want to grab another Terapagos. We'll attach the double turbo here. I don't know if we want to play Area Zero out of our hand. I guess it's okay. I guess there's no reason not to. All right, we'll go ahead and pass. And then we do have Judge in our hand for next turn. So if this is Dragapult, even though it's probably one of our worst matchups, we do have a pretty good start here. If they only have one Dreepy on the board, we will definitely be going after that. All right, they're going to grab the Seal Stone, probably get a Buddy Poffin off of it, or just grab a Buddy Poffin off the Arven. All right, they're going to get a pretty good setup here. The question is, do we just take the Pidgey? I feel like we just go after the Pidgey, right? I feel like there's no reason not to go after the Pidgey. All right, we're going to grab Ball, and we do need to get another Hoothoot on the bench here. We do have an energy in play, correct? Yes. We'll check that. All right, we do want to grab another Hoothoot. I really wanted to play Judge with this turn, but I feel like just taking out the Pidgey is just really good as well. The more I think about it, the Judge was a really good play. But let's just take the Pidgey. Let's get that out of here. Pidgeot is really sketchy for us. We don't want them to have that. There's a Hoothoot. All right, we're in business. They have the Rare Candy, Tool Card, 1 energy in hand. That would be really unfortunate. It's a possibility, though. It's definitely a possibility. There's the Fez. All right. Yeah, so the Judge wouldn't have really mattered. We may go after the Pidgey again. We honestly may just go after the Pidgey again. Depends on what our opponent's able to do here. Let's see if they have the Rare Candy, Dragapult, A-Spec, and Energy Attachment in hand. Okay, so they have at least one of the pieces. If they grab an Arven here, they should have everything. All they need is an Arven. Yeah, oh, just have it in hand. That works too. There's the Sparkling Crystal. This is why you want to play 1 Lost Vacuum. Definitely helps, for sure. They'll probably go after the Bouffalance on the bench here. Could go after the Hoothoot. I'm not really sure what they're going to do here. They could put it on the Terapagos. That would also be unfortunate. Yeah. Maybe they don't understand what Bouffalance does. Because we could still penny up this Terapagos, attack with this one, and they don't have a knockout. That's probably what we need to do here. Yeah. We're just going to penny this one up. I don't think we need to do anything else. We do need that extra Fan Rotom down. We have to be doing enough damage. I don't want to put the other Terapagos down necessarily. I mean, they could Iono us. I feel like we have to. Yeah, let's just go ahead. Yeah, they need 1 card because they still have their Seal Stone here and to get whatever they want. It's probably going to be a Scoop Up Cyclone angle, depending on what we get off of Judge if they don't disrupt our hand. We could use our Energy Lotto as well, just to get it out of hand. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. Don't know if I agree with it, but it makes sense. Yeah, there's just the Pidgeot. Of course. We still have to attack with this Dragapult, which means we're taking the knockout on this Dragapult. They don't have an energy attachment. They could just not be attacking the next turn. If they're not attacking that next turn, then I think we just win. Let's see if they got it. Okay, that doesn't matter. This is what people do. They go after the Bouffalance really heavily. Don't know why they didn't take the Hoothoot. I'm not going to complain. You take the Hoothoot. All right, we're going to promote this Terapagos. And we're going to Energy Lotto. Because we can penny if we have to. All right, we didn't get it, which is fine. We are going to jet this one up. And then we're going to play Judge, Brave Charm, Best Friend. Do we want to grab the Fez? Do we grab... Yeah, we want to get this Hoothoot out of knockout range. We want to grab a Nest Ball and another Brave Charm here. We want to do flip the script. All right, Nest Ball, Brave Charm. And that also takes that Hoothoot out of knockout range. Shoot. We need both of these, don't we? We're going to grab the Fez because we do have Ultra Ball. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't want to discard a Hoot Hoot, but we may have to. I think we're playing Penny next turn. I think we can dump the Hoot Hoot pretty safely here. I think we're going to keep the Judge just in case. All right, so we're going to go down to 3 prize cards here. Our opponent does not have an attack this turn unless they play, what is it, Crispin? I guess they could play Crispin. We do have 1 Boss's Orders left. We do have Counter Catcher left. So they need a Crispin and they need the Dragapult EX. Really, they only need 1 because they have Pidgeot. They can grab the other. We just need 1 knockout here. And then we can finish off the game with the bear. This is actually going really, really well. Normally, this Dragapult matchup is really sketchy, but I mean, it's going okay. I think our opponent messed up really, really bad when they didn't take the knockout, the knockdown knockout. The Hoot when it was a Hoot Hoot. There's the fire. They can Jet Headbutt. It's only going to do 10 damage though. We really want to see like a Boss's Orders here. We do have Switch in our hand. They're probably going to go after the Fez. They're only doing 10 damage. Okay. Oh, Defiance Band, Defiance Band. Okay. I was like, what? Defiance Band. Shoot. Man, if we had a Boss's Orders right here, that would be so good. Do we just judge? I think we just judge, right? We don't want to give them more cards and us less cards. So let's just judge. They don't play the Crispin, it looks like, so they can't do any energy accelerations. Man. Okay, our opponent just conceded. I think they kind of realized what was going on here. I was just going to keep cycling. I think they were just 1 turn behind because they don't play the Crispin for that energy acceleration. We'll take it. Normally, that's a really, really bad matchup. Our opponent's allowing us to go first, which is great. I'm not sure what deck in the format wants to go second right now. Maybe Raging Bolt. That's about it. We'll just go ahead and start the Terapagos. We do have the Bouffalant Rotom play in hand, unless we prize both Rotom. Right, okay, Roaring Moon is a going second deck for sure, but they can't knock us out with anything other than Frenzied Gouging. It's kind of sketchy. I think we just fan Rotom, and then we play the Research next turn and hope we get an energy that way. I do want to grab another Bouffalant here. I want to grab another Hoot Hoot. We could grab the Noctowl to guarantee like more energy search with like the energy Lotto, but I think with Research we're going to get it anyway. I think we just grab another Hoot Hoot here because we may end up needing the switch. Opponent's probably playing Pokestop. That's why we didn't put the Area 0 down yet. So if they do play a Pokestop, we'll have the Stadium Bump in hand and then we can play our Hoot Hoot. That's why we didn't go ahead and play the Area 0 and the Hoot Hoot because I'm expecting my opponent to have a Pokestop in their hand, and we want to win the Stadium War. If we play our Stadium first and they bump our Stadium and then we play another Stadium, they could end up with the Stadium in play versus us having the Stadium in play. They don't know we have a Research in hand. That's probably why they got rid of the Judge. Not sure what they want to grab here. I mean, they could grab the Radiant Greninja. They could grab another Roaring Moon. If they have a probably the Radiant Greninja. Radiant Greninja it is. They're going to concealed cards. They'll have 2 energy in the discard. If they get lucky, they could have a double attachment here. Do they have the Nest Ball Sada? Pokemon Catcher. All right. Got it. All right. Probably going to bring up a Bouffalant just to trap it. Bouffalant to trap. Bouffalant. There's almost no shot we don't get a Noctowl here for like a switching option. They got rid of their Pekkarunt here, so if we go after this Pekkarunt this upcoming turn, they could be in bad shape. They really could. They're not getting an attack here. I don't think it's possible. Gonna grab another Roaring Moon here. Yep. I like this deck a lot. The Roaring Moon deck is a lot of fun to play when it works, but when it doesn't work, it's really, really annoying. Not gonna lie. It's really annoying. We do have to go ahead and get our setup going here. We don't have a choice. Don't like it, but we do need to get going here. There's almost no shot they don't Frenzied Gouging this upcoming turn. So I'm not super worried about attaching like a Brave Charm or anything to this. If they Frenzied Gouging and knock themselves out, that's also good for us. Let's grab a switch. We don't really need anything else, do we? I mean, we could grab a Boss for next turn. They try and trap. We do have the Jet Energy in hand. We have Boss for next turn. We have Energy Lotto for a double turbo. If they use Frenzied Gouging, we have the Bear. I think we have a lot of options here. We'll get 2 prize cards if they do Frenzied Gouging us. I think overall, we're in a good position here. Best case scenario would have been bossing up the Pekkarunt, but not getting that is okay. If they Frenzied Gouging us here, then we do have the Boss in hand and the Energy Lotto. So we'll promote our Terapagos, we'll do the Energy Lotto, see if we get a double turbo, and then we'll boss up the Pekkarunt. And we do have the basic Pokemon in our hand to do the 190 damage to knock out the Pekkarunt. So we could have 4 prizes taken by next turn. And if we do, then it's just kind of game over because we have the Ursaluna to clean it up. There's Dark Patch. Our opponent could get a Frenzied Gouging here. Okay, double Dark Patch. But all we need is a couple basics here. Pheasantipity does not help here. They do have Mew, though, so they get 2 more cards. They just need an energy. They've got 4 on the board, none in the discard, so they probably have 4 or 5 left. See if they got it. Honestly, if they whiff it, that's kind of unfortunate. They have a lot of outs to energy. They may just concede here if they miss the energy. I think I would concede if I miss the energy. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think we just play the energy lotto, grab the double turbo, go ahead and set up our next attacker. We're not going to play the bear because they do have the stadium. We don't want to lose all of our damage ability later on. Best thing about this deck, honestly, is this fan Rotom here. With the jet energy, you could do 70 damage. And if they do frenzied gouging, we can just attack with the fan Rotom with the jet energy in hand, which would be really, really funny. It's also a really good answer to the Mimikyu. All right, there's the Pheasantipity, just had it in hand. Man, it feels like you have to like really think about taking knockouts right now because of the Pheasantipity. Yeah, there's the Pokestop. That's why we didn't play the bear, because then we would have had to discard something else that's really important. Man, all the dark patches. All three of the energy on this Roaring Moon have been from Dark Patch. It's crazy. We could have kept the Fan Rotom just to have the knockout next turn, but we do have the other Terapagos in hand, or I mean on the bench with an energy, so we have a knockout that way as well. And then we can clean things up with the Ursaluna and the Boss's Order. They can't take a knockout with Calamity Storm because it does, what, 220 minus 60, so they'd only be doing 160. So they'll more than likely do the Frenzied Gouging here. It's a sod. It's pretty good. Wonder if they'll put the fourth energy on. They didn't. Okay. They could have put the fourth energy on here. It wouldn't have mattered. Fourth Dark Patch. We're just going to win the prize trade here because we have Ursaluna. That's it. 100% why. They have two attackers ready to go, but to get a knockout on a two-prizer, they do have to use Frenzied Gouging. How much damage does Noctowl do? I mean, we could Speed Wing as well. Attach a double turbo to the Noctowl, do 40 damage. That's also another option. Enhanced Hammer? What is this? What the heck? Who plays Enhanced Hammer in Roaring Moon? That's crazy. This is completely fine. I think we'll just do the knockout with the Noctowl. Could grab Fan Rotom as well. You know what? We're going to Nest Ball for Fan Rotom for the meme. All right, let's go ahead and put up the Terapagos here. We're going to Nest Ball for the other Fan Rotom. We're going to jet it up for the knockout. If there's no stadium in play, this attack does nothing. So we do have a stadium in play. We do have the knockout. We're going to evolve this. We're going to grab an Area 0, I think is what we should do. We don't want them to have... Yeah, we're just going to grab an Area 0. And we're going to grab... I don't even think we need Briar or Scoop Up Cyclone here, do we? We're going to grab Scoop Up Cyclone just for the pivot option because we've already got Boss in hand. And we're not going to allow them to have the Pokestop. That's the biggest thing here. We're not allowing them to have Pokestop. We're going to go ahead and bench our Bear. We're going to take the knockout with the Fan Rotom. Assault Landing, 70 damage, taking the KO on the Roaring Moon. Leaving a single prize in the active spot. I don't think they're going to have a response to this. I was not expecting that Enhanced Hammer. I really was not expecting the Enhanced Hammer on the Terapagos EX. There's Night Stretcher. Grab another one. I'm just not a big fan of Night Stretcher. I know it's crazy strong. Like if you like knock out your opponent's Pheasantipity and then you Iono them to 1, they could Night Stretcher back to Pheasantipity. Pheasantipity for 3, get a Pokestop, do 3 more, and just keep going and going and going. But I'm just not a fan of Night Stretcher. It only gets 1 card. Super Rod and Super Energy Retrieval get you multiple card. Normally you want more than 1 card, especially in this deck where if they use like Collapse Stadium and you have to dump all of your basics, you need to put all those basic backs to be able to do any damage. There's a Judge. If we get Boss here, we just win, and we have Boss. We haven't needed Pheasantipity this whole match. This is just not a good matchup for our opponent. Them only doing 220 damage with Calamity Storm and us having 230 HP on all of our 2-prize Pokemon is just not good for them. And with our max being 220, if they use Pekka-Runt, we're doing 230 without any other enhancement. So they're going to Calamity Storm here. They're going to dump our Area 0, which is completely fine. Then we're going to dump our Noctowl. If we had our Tenacity, we could just grab the double turbo for the knockout. Yeah, we'll just do Terapagos. Either way, we have to get an energy here. So we're going to start with the Pheasantipity. This is why we play the Pheasantipity. It's why you have to play the Pheasantipity. There's the Boss's Orders we need. Now we can grab our Energy Lotto, which we don't have. Did we already play the Energy Lotto? We did. Man, I'm trolling. That's okay. They still don't have a knockout. You still have the bear. We do need to get another Hoot Hoot down here just in case. We just need to get everything out of our hand, right? We don't want any of this stuff in our hand, and we'll just pass. All right, I was thinking the Energy Lotto was still in there. I know we looked right at it, but I was honestly just looking for the Colossus Tenacity there. Let's see what our opponent does. I mean, to get a knockout, they do have the Frenzied Gouging. They could just Calamity Storm as well. I feel like they need to get a Boss's Orders and Frenzied Gouging, the Ursaluna, to have a shot here. Let's see what they do. Let's see what they do. I'm really curious what they're going to do. Just Calamity Storm, get rid of the Area 0. I think that's... We still have one more. That's fine. At no point do we need the Bouffalon anymore. So we can dump the Bouffalon, and we can dump the Noctowl, and we want to flip this. No, they didn't knock out, which is okay. I mean, to do damage, they have to hit us with that. So I think we just put back all of our Noctowls. Yeah, we just put back our Noctowls here. Then we Iona. We could attack, and then our opponent just retreats. Calamity Storm. So we don't have the Bouffalon anymore. Still not a knockout. I think we put the pressure on. We do the 130 here. They can't do Frenzied Gouging. Calamity Storm's only doing 100. We didn't take a knockout. This is turning into like a weird, awkward end game. But I think we've kind of got it just wrapped up. They take a knockout here, then... I mean, to take a knockout, they need a Pokestop. They've only played one Pokestop, right? No, 2. So if they could have 2 left. 8 cards in deck. It's really weird they haven't seen another one. Okay, Frenzy Gouging the bear, but then... I mean, that doesn't do anything. That does something. Okay. Are they going to dump the Pokestop? They did dump the Pokestop, and we just win. Top deck penny for the win. Oh, Terapagos is too tanky, man. Doing the exact amount of damage. 100 damage. That was a much more entertaining match than I thought it was going to be in the end game there. I kind of trolled, not realizing that we had already done the Energy Lotto. Judge and Iono. Good match, though. Good match. All right. Our opponent actually let us go first, which is fantastic. Normally, most decks right now want to go first. So us being able to go first is great. We do have a Hoot Hoot start, which is not fantastic, but it's way better than starting the Ursaluna for sure. All right, let's see what our opponent's playing. Doodle. What's that going to be? Hey, we got a Terapagos off the top deck. Love to see it. All right, we're going to grab our Fan Rotom, and I think we need to grab... I think we only need one Bouffalon here because our opponent's probably not attacking next turn. Yeah, let's grab a Hoot Hoot, Noctowl, and a Bouffalon, and we will pass. All right, let's see what our opponent ends up doing here. We got the Snow Runt. Probably means they're playing the Frostlass, so we don't want a ton of stuff with abilities in play. But we might be able just to run away with this game here. Depends on how fast they can get set up. I don't know if they're going to be able to deal with us picking up our Pokemon with Scoop Up Cyclone and with Penny here. So we're probably going to just evolve in this Hoot Hoot right here. We'll probably grab Scoop Up Cyclone just to get it off the board. And then we're going to grab a Colress's Tenacity probably for a Stadium and an Energy. That's probably the best play. Not too for sure what they're playing here, so we don't want to leave a lot of stuff on the bench. Them attaching a Hero's Cape is just weird. Have no idea what they're doing. All right, let's grab our switching option here. We might just grab Switch. Yeah, let's just grab Switch. Let's grab Colress's Tenacity just to make sure we get an attack here. All right, we want a double turbo and an Area 0. I don't think we need to put anything else down on the bench until we really know what our opponent's doing here. We may want to target down the Snow Run, but we may wait until they evolve it to a Frostlass to do so. Anybody know what they're playing here? I have no idea what they're playing. There's the Frostlass, so we're probably just going to boss this up next turn. There's the Dreadnought. Prevent all damage to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon if that damage is 200 or more. All right. This is definitely some sort of stall deck. Yeah, not grabbing that extra Bouffalon's going to come back to get us right here. It's a 10. I still think we go after the Frostlass here. I don't think the Dreadnought is really a threat to us. I think we want to definitely want to grab another Bouffalon here just to reduce the damage. And I think we just go after the Frostlass here. Yeah, so this is going to do, what, 100 damage? And then we could just use Noctowl and pick it back up. Kind of a smart idea. I mean, you can't one-hit KO Dreadnought at any point because if it has 240 HP, you're going to be doing over 200 damage to get the one-hit KO. Problem that they're going to run into is that we could just cycle through our stuff here. All right, they're probably going to grab another Snow Run. Yeah, another Snow Run, another Reversal Energy. We're not getting the knockout here. So we're going to grab an Area 0, and we're going to grab our Scoop Up Cyclone, and we're going to grab another Terapagos with the Ultra Ball. So there's the Scoop Up Cyclone. There's the Area 0. We do need the Area 0 to have the bench space for the new Terapagos. So we're going to dump this. Just go ahead and dump the research as well. We're probably going to judge at the end of this turn. All right, grab another Terapagos. All right, we're going to scoop up this Terapagos. We're going to put this one in the active spot, attach the double turbo, attach the Brave Charm, bench our other Terapagos, and we're going to play Judge. This is why we play a heavy counted Judge. We don't want to give our opponent 6 new cards. We only want them to have 4. All right, we're going to grab one more Hoot Hoot just to have it on the bench as an option. They do play a heavy count of Stadium, so we don't want to put a lot of stuff in the active spot here. And it does leave us at 190 damage with us not using up that last bench space as well. So we are able to damage the Dreadnought. through its ability that does not allow damage if it's 200 or more. So this attack will only be doing 20 damage because of the damage reduction. I just don't see what they're going to be able to do here. Game freeze. There's the Frost Lab. I don't know if they want to leave this in play. They could play Scoop Up Cyclone as well, honestly. This is definitely a Scoop Up Cyclone type of deck. They were able to pick this up, evolve it, attach the Hero Escape back to this. It's not really that great for us. But we could also boss up any one of their Pokemon here and allow Frostlass to take knockouts. Surprised we haven't seen a Monkey Dory yet. This is an interesting deck for sure. I like this ability with the Hero's Cape or the Luxurious Cape. Right, they grab the Rescue Board and the Counter Catcher. We do have the double turbo in hand, so we can attach it wherever we want for a manual retreat. Not sure what they're going to do here. Probably go after a Boufflant. Maybe the Hoot Hoot. But the damage reduction also applies to the Hoot Hoot. Okay, yeah. Going after the Boufflant is the normal route to victory for most of these decks, but we could just pick it up or manually retreat it with a double turbo. That's why playing the Pheasantipity is kind of okay, because if they boss this up and knock it out, instead of attacking your Terapagos, it allows you to keep a double turbo in play, and you don't want to play anything besides double turbos and the one jet energy in this deck. 20 damage. Funny. All right, we just penny here. And we'll just go ahead and take the knockout on this Dreadnought. Does give us 2 prizes because they have the Luxurious Cape attached. This deck could be a really difficult thing to play against for some deck. If you're playing something like Roaring Moon EX, for instance, or if you're playing basically any big basic deck except for Terapagos, this is a really good deck because most decks want to do more than 200 damage. There's the Hero's Cape. I was wondering if they played the Scoop Up Cyclone or the Hero's Cape, but this makes sense. Oh, they just don't have it. That's unfortunate. All right, we are doing 190 damage, so we'll just take the knockout on the Choodle, and we'll go down to 1 prize card. It's just too tanky. Terapagos is just too tanky, man. They haven't gotten even close to getting a single prize yet. They haven't gotten close to getting a single prize. Hey, at least they're not giving up. Kudos for that. I mean, this deck could be so hard to deal with this. All right. Terapagos is just too tanky, man. They couldn't deal with it. It was just, we kept picking it up. There was nothing they could do about it. All right. It'll put us at 6-0. Probably should have prize checked to see that professor's research was missing before we discarded it earlier. That's okay. All right, let's go into the next match and see if we can get a really, high-performing meta deck this time. We've been playing a lot of weird stuff, but with the new cards, there's a lot of really cool new decks that you can play. I really like that Dreadnought deck. That's a really, really smart deck. I don't know about the Luxurious Cape, though. You almost want to, I don't know. You have to do something with the, you can't do Luxurious Cape in that deck. You almost have to play just like the Hero's Cape and then like a bunch of switches to just rotate around your Dreadnoughts, allowing the Frostlass to build up damage before your opponent starts taking knockout. All right, we got a double Terapagos start here, which is fantastic. We are going first. Looks like this is going to be a mirror match. Not sure what deck they're playing, but we're about to find out. They could be playing the Dusknoir version. I'm not the biggest fan of that. But if we don't get a Rotom here, it's gonna be bad, like really bad. Okay, okay. I don't think we ever need Super Rod in this matchup because our opponent probably only plays Area Zero. But we do need all of these other cards. So let's go ahead and grab Fan Rotom here. I think we need to grab 2 Boufflant. We just always have to have these in play. Grab the 1 Hoot Hoot. Go ahead and attach the Brave. We'll go ahead and bench the other Terapagos just in case they hit us with an Iono or a Judge. And we're about to find out what deck our opponent's playing. If they're playing the more popular version with the Dusknoir lines, there's the Poffin, so this will tell us pretty quick if they put down the Duskulls or not. Okay, we are playing against the Duskull version, which is okay. Honestly, okay. There's Iono, which is great for us. This is why we want to play Judge instead of Iono, because they're giving me 6 new cards as well. If they had played a Judge there, that's less likely I would have, drawn into anything like this. I think we go for a Boss's Orders here, and we immediately just start targeting down their Hoot Hoot. I'm not sure what this deck can do without the Hoot Hoot. The Duskulls do not matter. I think, do we just play the... No, we do want a boss, don't we? Or they can just concede. That works. They must have had a bad hand, so I'm glad I didn't Iono. I feel like in the Terapagos matchup, whoever goes first just kind of wins automatically because you can't use the Unified Beatdown, and if you have your bear trapped in the active, it's not very good. Does that Terapagos deck list even play like switching options or like Turo or anything like that? Let's I feel like, what was it, Tord who played one? Yeah, Tord played one in Dortmund. All right, he's got one Turo. Okay, so if he was playing Tord's list, he only had 1 out to move the bear, which is really, really bad. Oh wait, they do have Prime Catcher. Okay, so they had 2 outs. They had Prime. I guess they had Thornton as well. So they had 3 outs. This is a really... I don't know how Tord wins with these type of deck lists. Like 2 Research, 2 Iono. Like if I played only 4 draw supporters, I would just brick every single game. Every single game. All right, let's... Terapagos mirror match. Basically, whoever goes first wins. As long as you have the Rotom, then it's just kind of, you know, whoever goes first. There is a way to kind of come back from it with my deck list because you can just recycle things and then, you know, keep them from getting prize cards, but it's still not great. All right. Still looking at Tord's deck list here. It's I don't 3 Buddy Puffin, I guess. This is, I don't know. You're really relying on this Pidgeot and this Pheasantipity. Like, heavily relying on the Pheasantipity and the Pidgeot.